So I thought I would give my take on the very telling interview that Jaguar White conducted with Piers Morgan. Now, like Piers Morgan or not, Piers Morgan is he's a good journalist, he's a good reporter, he's good at what he does, you know. But I will say that he was very careful how he conducted that interview, because when he did the interview with Jaguar White to keep himself out of trouble in harm's way, he said, now I will say Jay-Z and Beyonce isn't here to defend themselves, and he talked about some other people, which in other words, Piers Morgan was hinting that, well, Jay-Z should come on his show along with Beyonce and basically tell their side of the story. And eventually Jay-Z is going to have to break his silence, because Jay-Z could be living on borrowed time. Now, everybody knows, anybody that follows my channel know I am not a fan of Jay-Z whatsoever. I've heard things about him over the years. I've heard that he's a snake. I've heard he's double-crossed a lot of people. And then I heard he's tied to a lot of things as well. Now, keep in mind, which, by the way, I'm going to further explain my issue with Jay-Z and how he's been attached to a lot of different things. Don't you remember when Tory Lanez was convicted? What Tory Lanez's father said about Jay-Z? So me, myself, if I'm Jay-Z, we already know Jay-Z didn't lawyered up. Jay-Z was last seen, I think, at Fanfare. That was like the last public event I think he was seen at. I think that was either sometime in August, at the tail end of August or the beginning of September. But nevertheless, Jay-Z might want to start preparing himself, and a lot of people have turned on Beyonce since Jaguar White did her very candid and telling interview. Now, I'm going to say this about Jaguar White. She knows some things, but I'm not going to say what she says is the gospel. But she's been accurate, and she stood firm on her, accusations. And it looked like some of the stuff that she's been saying is starting to come to fruition, and it seems a lot of it to be true. Now, I also seen what DJ Vlad had to say in regards to Jaguar White, and I'm gonna speak on that. But one thing that's pissing me off about the whole Jaguar White thing, people are nitpicking what they want to talk about. And one thing that a lot of people are ignoring is what she said in regards to Tory Lanez being innocent. And Jaguar White went on record and said that Jay-Z played a role in what happened with Tory Lanez. And I'm going to speak on that further. And I'm also going to speak out on these double standards. Look, if a person is a petro or a predator or a savage, doesn't matter what their gender are, they should all be called to the carpet. Because one thing the media has ignored, they have ignored the comments by Cardi B. And they are trying to ignore what happened with that bogus Tory Lanez case. Now, if I'm Jay-Z, one, I'm lawyering up right now. Second thing is, I'm possibly looking for property, non-expedition or expeditial property, where basically if I flee the country, I can't be expedited back to the state. See, whatever you think of Russell Simmons, I give him credit. Russell Simmons sold mostly or all of his assets, and he went to Bali. Thing is, with Russell Simmons, they don't even bother Russell Simmons, because they can't do nothing to him, because they can't charge him. with anything. He has pretty much no ties to the United States anymore. He pretty much sold everything and went to Bali. Non-extradition treaty doesn't exist where he is. So basically, if they even wanted to charge him with something, then they asked him to come back to the United States. He doesn't have to. So the thing is with Russell Simmons, did he see this coming? Did he see this coming a couple of years ahead of everybody else? And say, okay, well, not with me. So you have to ask that question. Now, don't come on here and saying that, oh, you're condoning what Jay-Z allegedly did. No, I'm just speaking from a standpoint, if I was Jay-Z. Because Jay-Z been real quiet. I'm talking about you ain't heard a peep. To be honest with you, I'm going to be honest with you, the last few weeks, internet been real quiet. And I find that strange. You ain't been hearing about basically nothing. Now, the Garth Brooks thing, of course, you guys, I'm going to speak on it. You don't have to come in the comment section and say, Tail, what's your take on Garth Brooks? I'm going to speak on Garth Brooks later on. Just bear with me. Anybody that watch and follows my channel, you already know I'm going to talk about Garth Brooks. You know I'm going to get around to it. So, of course, but I'm just saying. Because it ain't looking too good for Chicka Jigga. And his silence says a lot. You ain't really been hearing about Jay-Z making any appearances. You don't hear about him being scheduled to make any appearances. And then you've been hearing that people are turning on Beyonce. Basically that the beehive is starting to buzz a lot because of some of the things they've been hearing about this Jay-Z situation. And then people are saying that, oh, so Beyonce is attached to this stuff. And to a certain degree, you have to wonder. Now, one thing I did like about the Jaguar Wright interview, she said that it just didn't start with Diddy or Puffy or whatever the situation may be, that he had to get taught. And I'm glad that she named Clive Davis. Or should I say Clive John Davis. You have to understand, these dudes get groomed. And basically what could happen is they about to be some major shakeups. And it kind of makes you wonder, is Sean Combs the intended target, or do they want other people? And it get to the point to where these type of situations, it begins to become a pile on. Then you have people what you would call ambulance chasers, bandwagon jumpers, and all that kind of stuff. They'll just say, oh, well, I want in on this. And some people will already know that they're not being truthful, may have not even ever had any type of interaction with Sean Combs, but they'll just throw their name out there to bring some notoriety and attention to themselves. You saw it with Bill Cosby. You saw it with other people. Now, we all know, as far as the Bill Cosby case go, they already said that Bill Cosby should have never did any prison time whatsoever. But I already told you about the whole trafficking thing, that they reworded a lot of different things. And I'm just saying, if you're going to have this moral stance on right and wrong, you got to come after everybody. You can't just target men. And that's what I have a problem with, because it appears to me once again to be a secret or battle of the sexes innuendo, where they're just going after men and they're not really crashing down and coming hard on these women that's tied to this kind of stuff. Because a lot of times in these situations, they be trying to offer women immunity. Now, at the end of the day, due to the fact that Beyonce is married to Jay-Z, legally married to Jay-Z, well, I think by law, I don't think they can get her to testify against Jay-Z. I think that's the only thing that I think Jay-Z got on his side. I don't think they can force her to testify against Jay-Z. I would have to look that up, but it's something it's something in writing about that. But if Beyonce is just as guilty as Jay-Z, then she shouldn't be given a free pass. And if she's aligned with this and she's attached to this, she's just as guilty. But all these other dudes, like, that's like trying to capitalize off this, like the Gene Deals of the world, and maybe Choke No Joke, all these type of dudes, because I feel like more in particularly dudes like Gene Deal. If he knew all this stuff was going on with Diddy and he said nothing to me, I feel like he's accomplished, and I feel like he you know, I feel like he should be behind bars just like Diddy. But Jay-Z, he better be prepared. That $2 billion that he then accumulated over almost, or should I say, basically 30 plus years being in the business, he better be prepared to possibly spend hundreds of millions of it to keep him out of jail, because his name is really starting to surface. So this thing is getting very interesting. And like I said before, one thing about me, I try to be objective and I try to play stuff by ear. So, you know, that's what you're supposed to do. And I'm gonna continue to do it. So if I'm Jay-Z, I'm looking at all my assets. I'm looking at all my equity, my property. What do I have in cash versus equity and all that kind of stuff? Because it's the difference between net worth and actual worth. So Jay-Z might want to start looking property, non-expeditial property, because I got a feeling that Jay-Z is being investigated and people asking questions about him right now as we speak. I promise you that eventually they're gonna start inquiring about Jay-Z, because Jay-Z's name is just attached to a lot of different stuff. You just been hearing time and time over and over again how Jay-Z is a shady person and how Jay-Z has stabbed a lot of people in the back. Look at the situation with him and Damon Dash. Look at when he was running Def Jam Records. Look at the situation with Rockefeller Records, where basically he would try to suppress Benny Siegel. Whenever Benny Siegel tried to put out an album, they wouldn't really put no promotion behind it. I'm talking about every time Benny Siegel would try to put out an album. And Benny Siegel was a hell of a rapper. But I just noticed whenever he tried to put out an album, you just didn't see anything behind it. No real promotion. They wouldn't set him up on basically radio tours to promote the album and all this kind of stuff. You never saw that with Benny Siegel. You see the situation with David Dash. Then you see how Jay-Z basically threw Colin Kaepernick under the bus. Then you hearing about this stuff with Lil Wayne in the Super Bowl, which as far as Lil Wayne and the Super Bowl go, I already spoke and gave my take on the whole Lil Wayne situation. Lil Wayne just ain't popping like how he was. Then you just been hearing all these issues about Lil Wayne being difficult to work with. Just a lot of different things that may have came into play on why he didn't get the Super Bowl gig. Like I said before, the best time to like really had brought Lil Wayne to perform in New Orleans at the Super Bowl was 2013, when the Ravens took on the San Francisco 49ers, in which the Baltimore Ravens won a razor-thin Super Bowl based off the fact that there was pass interference that should have got called, which would have put which would have gave the 49ers a new set of downs, which would have gave them a 1st and goal, and basically it would have gave the 49ers a chance to basically punch one in and basically win the Super Bowl. But they didn't call it. They showed the footage behind the scenes where the referee basically stopped the guy from calling the flag. Guess he wanted to go home. But as a longtime hip-hop connoisseur, a hip-hop historian, like I said, as far as Jay-Z go, as far as his character go, I've never met Jay-Z before in my life, but there are some dudes, and I'm a good judge of character for the most part. I can tell whether somebody is cool, not cool, for the most part. There have been people that I've been wrong about, but most of the time I'm not wrong about people that I encounter. But there was just always this sense of when I saw Jay-Z talk, when he'd do interviews, it was just this vibe that he would give me, and it would just seem like every time he'd speak on certain things, he just would seem like he's not a genuine person. You would think that there's something behind the scenes, a layer of him that's not that good and possibly disturbing about him. None of this I'm hearing about Jay-Z is so disturbing, but I think the real question is point to where we shouldn't look up to celebrities. Me, myself, I've said this before. I've failed a lot of that. I've backed away from that. Not that I would ever put too much stock into celebrities, because I think we're at a point now we shouldn't look up to celebrities, and we have to face the fact that celebrities are not our heroes. They're not role models. Athletes are not role models. They're entertainers. And at the end of the day, it's not their job to raise our children. Because when it's all said and done, Tom Brady is an entertainer. Michael Jordan is an entertainer. And I know that they wanted to sell that image of these dudes are role models so they can sell, so they can sell cereal and Gatorade and all that kind of stuff and Wheaties, so they can sell product based off the whole role model thing. But I just think we're far and beyond that, and I just think that movement cannot be pushed anymore, because now we live in an internet era where basically it's next to impossible to hide almost any, it's next to almost impossible to hide anything. And now people are living in a time where basically they can be a nobody but become a somebody overnight if they have information on somebody, whether it's truthful, somewhat truthful, or untruthful at all. It can be very lucrative, and it can lead to a lot of different things. Now, with that comes a price. If it's proven that you can't provide proof of what people are doing that you're accusing them of, then guess what? Now you're liable. But now you living in an age where it's easy to, basically become famous overnight by either doing something or saying something. That's just real. And it comes with a cost. I'll give you an example. I seen that person by the name of Sydney Starr, and they was on, of course, the Culture Vulture show, and she was with Darius McQuarrie, basically dude who played Eddie Winslow. Now, I guess he got something going on with Sydney Starr, and the Sydney Starr recently announced that she had her reassignment surgery, and basically it's gone. And Adam 22, for some reason, with his weird ass, asked could he have it, what's been removed. But she don't want to take accountability. She, he, shim, them, whatever this person refers to, don't want to take accountability on how this person openly admitted to lying on Chinky and basically ruining his career. Doesn't want to take accountability. Oh, well, I was young. I was 19 and all this stuff. And openly admitted that you lied on that dude. Openly admitted that you lied on that dude and ruined his career. So, that's the thing. And that's when you started to see clout chasing begin. But this person ruined Chingy's career. Admitted to lying on the dude. Openly admitted to lying on the dude and ruining his career. And when people bring that up, wants to get it. Oh, well, that's not, at the end of the day, it was you. You lied on the dude. You lied on the dude and you destroyed his career. Now, I mean, if this had happened this day and age, I guess it probably would be more acceptable. But you talked about, almost 20 years ago, if not 20 years ago. So, but, yeah. But getting back to that, that's just an example of what I'm talking about. But Jaguar Wright, she been on point with a lot of stuff that she said. Now, whether you believe she's a super conspiracy, yeah, that's fine. Because once again, you have the right to your opinion. But like I said, if I'm Jay-Z, I would already be talking to my lawyers. Like I said, it's next to impossible to hide stuff, or basically try to get stuff out of the media, because you have leaks everywhere. But Jay-Z, he might want to start looking for real. He might want to start looking for property in places that don't have an extradition treaty. So there you have it. It's your boy Town. I'm out.